Hey everybody, KMO here, and I am in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You like my new haircut? It's pretty short and I haven't washed it yet, so it's a little early to tell for me. But anyway, I usually get my haircut when I am in Northeast Maryland, which is very close to where my kids live. And I get down there about every couple of months, so you know, I get fairly shaggy over the course of a couple of months, and then I get a haircut. And if for some reason I can't make it down there after a couple months, then I'll do it locally in Bellows Falls, but I'm usually not very happy with the results there, and it costs more. So, as you probably know, on my long drives, I've been listening to books about artificial intelligence, and basically I've been re-listening to audiobooks, the same 4 audiobooks that I've been talking about here for the last couple weeks or so. And just yesterday I decided to go back, because I finished the re-listen of Kai-Fu Lee's AI Superpowers. I started to go dive back into In the Age of Surveillance Capitalism by Shoshana Zuboff, but that is a deep, deep pool, and I can get lost in that forever. So instead I went back and I started re-listening to 21 Lessons for the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari, which I think really is the best book of the bunch, and it's not in that group of 4. I mean, I grouped those other 4 books together because I, listened to them all back to back. And the Yuval Noah Harari book I listened to several months ago. I don't remember exactly when I got it, but it's really, really good. I have to say, it's just really good. But I'm not going to talk any more about it today. Right now, I'm going to talk about stuff in Kai-Fu Lee's book. And I think some of the important points that Kai-Fu Lee made in the book is, one, what we're experiencing right now is not some explosion or some really rich period in artificial intelligence research. What we're in right now is a period of implementation. We alternate, scientific cultures alternate between periods of discovery and periods of implementation. And right now we are in a period of implementation in which people are finding ways to train algorithms to do very useful tasks based on some deep learning breakthroughs that were announced back in 2012. Now, the current method for training these algorithms involves feeding them lots and lots and lots of data. And the expression, I think it is attributed to Robert Mercer, is there's no data like more data. And one of the points that Kai-Fu Lee makes in the book is that China has more internet users than all of the United States and all of the European Union combined. And Chinese users of internet technology and mobile computing and social media and the like, they don't have the same individualistic propaganda drilled into them generation after generation that we do here in the West. And they're not as concerned with things like privacy. And they're certainly not of a mind to shout at the government or try to shame the government for not respecting their privacy rights. That would just be a foolish thing for Chinese people to do, just from a very practical standpoint. But what does that have to do with my haircut? Well, it used to be that I would go to this, just really run-of-the-mill strip mall clip joint. It's really the location that is handy for me. That and the fact that at the end of the haircut, as they're ringing up my purchase, whoever cuts my hair, and it's a different person each time, they enter some notes into a file which is associated with my telephone number, which I voluntarily gave them. And so they know what the last person did to my hair, and I really don't have to do a whole lot of explaining when I get there. And I get a pretty consistent haircut time after time, even though it's almost always a different person. It's the system that I'm interacting with. The people who cut my hair are adequately and fairly uniformly trained so that they can respond the same way to that same set of instructions, which is associated with me, or more importantly, with a digital record associated with my phone number. But it used to be that I would go in there and the lobby would be crowded, but even, with a crowded lobby or waiting area, lobby is too highfalutin a term, even in a crowded waiting area, I never had to wait for more than 15 or 20 minutes. But the last couple of times I've gone in there, they've asked me if I checked in online. And I always say, no, what does that involve? And they tell me, they give me a card, but I just forget about it. And yesterday I went in, or the day before yesterday, I went in there and the waiting area was empty and there was nobody getting their haircut. And people were just, stylists were just standing around doing nothing. And I was told that if I hadn't checked in online, there's an hour wait. What? What the hell is that? Well, I'll tell you what that is. They want me to interact with their system online so that I am feeding their system data. Well, they already know my name. They already know my phone number. They know how I like to get my hair cut. What more data do I give them by checking in online? Well, I give them location data. Where am I when I make that request? It is useful data. It is valuable data. They themselves might not have any use for it, but they can certainly sell it to somebody who does. So in getting my haircut, I am participating in the collection of data. And I did go back to Shoshana Zuboff's book just briefly as I was driving yesterday, and I was at the point where she was talking about how Google is working on smart fabrics, sensors which can be woven into clothing. So they released a jacket a couple years back. It was a prototype. It didn't make a big splash, even less so than Google Glass, but it's something they're working on, where the threads woven into the jacket are sensors which can detect bodily movement. So they get not only your location and your rate of movement and your heart rate, but they can also infer gestures so subtle as to get like the gestures of individual fingers, just from the way your skin and your arm and your body moves as it makes contact with this smart fabric. So again, whoever has the most data wins. This is a point from Kai-Fu Lee. Kai-Fu Lee says that technical expertise and managerial expertise are important, but they only take you so far. And that ultimately the advantage is going to go to the party with the most data. There is no data like more data, and China is able to collect more data because they have more users and less friction. And by friction, they mean concerns about privacy. So, Google and all of the surveillance capitalist companies are highly motivated to develop new products which embed sensors in and around our bodies, on our bodies, in our living areas, so that they get more and more and more behavioral data every time we do anything, because they can turn that data into prediction products, which they then sell to their actual customers. It is their primary revenue source and model for basically, obtaining and maintaining their power. So, big data and haircuts. And by the way, I had a lovely birthday, spent time with my kids. We saw a fun movie in the theater, and then they watched the 1982 John Carpenter version of The Thing with me, and they claimed to like it, and as we were watching it, they seemed suitably engrossed, despite the fact that there's not a lick of CGI in it. Well, there is, but it's absurd. And all of the stuff that they were seeing on screen was actually on set, in camera. It is an amazing special effects feat, even 37 years later. All right, that is all. I will be back in Bellows Falls late tomorrow. I will hopefully make a video and get it posted before I get on the road. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.